My brother boasted about his trust fund while I worked 2 jobs, so I let him explain the embezzlement charges to our parents. Blaine had always been the golden child. Trust fund at 18, brand new BMW for graduation, and a corner office at Dad's investment firm that he'd never earned. Meanwhile, I waited tables at Romano's and stocked shelves at Target just to pay community college tuition. Every family dinner became a performance. Blaine would flash his Rolex and talk about his latest expensive toy while I sat there in my Target uniform, too tired to change after my double shift. Maybe if you applied yourself like your brother, Dad would say, cutting into his steak. Mom would nod approvingly as Blaine described his week in the Bahamas. What they didn't know was that I'd been doing their books for 3 years. It started innocently. Dad needed help with basic data entry, and I was good with numbers. $20 an hour, cash under the table. I'd input client information, organize receipts, and maintain spreadsheets after my shifts. It was boring work, but it helped pay for textbooks. That's when I noticed the discrepancies. Small amounts at first. A few hundred here, 1,000 there. Always from elderly clients who rarely checked their statements. The money would disappear from their accounts, then reappear in a separate ledger I wasn't supposed to access. I followed the trail anyway. Every withdrawal led back to the same account, Blaine's personal checking. He'd been skimming from retirees for 2 years, small enough amounts that no one noticed, but it added up. By my calculations, he'd stolen over $180,000. I printed everything: bank statements, transfer records, forged documents with his signature. I even found the fake invoices he'd created to justify the transfers, professional financial consulting services that never existed. The night before our parents' anniversary party, I organized it all into a neat folder. 43 clients affected, dates, amounts, account numbers, everything the police would need. During dinner, Blaine launched into his usual routine. Just closed another major deal, he announced, adjusting his gold cufflinks. Dad, you should be proud. Your investment in my future is really paying off. Dad beamed. That's my boy. Unlike some people who are content with minimum wage, he looked directly at me. Actually, I said, setting down my water glass, Blaine's been making more money than any of us realized. I slid the folder across the table. What's this? Mom asked, opening it. Her face went white as she read the first page. Dad grabbed it, scanning the bank records. The room fell silent except for the sound of turning pages. What the hell is this? Dad's voice was barely a whisper. Blaine's cocky smile evaporated. I can explain. You've been stealing from our clients? Dad stood up, the folder shaking in his hands. These are people who trusted us. Mrs. Antonelli has been with us for 30 years. It's not stealing, Blaine stammered. It's just temporary borrowing. I was going to pay it back. With what money? I asked calmly. Your salary? Because according to these records, you haven't made a single legitimate commission this year. Mom was crying now, staring at the evidence of her perfect son's crimes. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. I'm calling the police, Dad said, reaching for his phone. Wait, Blaine pleaded. We can fix this. I'll sell my car, my watch, we can make this disappear. With what? Your trust fund? I laughed bitterly. Because that's mostly these people's money too. The police arrived 20 minutes later. As they handcuffed Blaine, he looked at me with pure hatred. This is your fault, he hissed. You've destroyed this family. No, I replied, watching them lead him away. You did that yourself. I just made sure everyone else found out. Dad lost his license 6 months later. The firm went bankrupt paying restitution. Mom divorced him and moved to Florida. I transferred to a 4-year university with the money I'd saved working those 2 jobs. Graduated summa cum laude in accounting. Blaine served 3 years. When he got out, he applied for a job at Romano's. I was the assistant manager by then. His application went straight into the trash.